What's up, everyone? So today I'm going to be messing with my little simulator seat. I kind of impulse bought it like a week ago or so, and it was like $100. I bought it with an open mind, thinking I can fabricate some stuff wherever might be needed. For $100, it's a good base to start and modify whatever I would like and want to do with it. So far, it's pretty decent. I don't really think I'm gonna change much on it. Other than the addition of e-brake mounts, I'm probably not gonna really do much to it, but let me show you what I got so far. Okay, so here we have the seat, simulator seat setup. This is from Amazon, the black actual frame itself. That's a Fanatec Club Sport pedal. I got it like 9 years ago, really long time ago. And I have my Fanatec, which has been taken apart and put together so many times that I have no idea what's left of it that's original. Anyways, so this is my NRG Prisma seat that's going in the 240 soon. I'm kind of just using it as a mock-up to see how everything's gonna fit. And at the moment, it looks pretty good. The steering wheel is gonna obviously mount here. That little shifter holder goes on the other side, and it comes down right about next to the seat itself. So it's pretty set up to be in the perfect spot for shifting. Off the side, I'm going to add an extra arm and put the e-brake basically in that spot. Which for an e-brake, I have a joystick, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. But yeah, it's looking pretty decent so far. So I'm sitting in the sim seat trying to mock up everything how I like it. The pedals feel okay. They feel a good distance. I can definitely play with that right there. Left foot braking and all that good stuff. Let me see where the shifter is gonna sit. So this pipe goes into this hole here. So the shifter will be about here. That's a good hand movement. So it'll be a positive movement there. I'll probably mount the joystick right above it so I can pull it kind of like my regular e-brake. So just for budget's sake, I'm not gonna buy one of those crazy e-brakes. I'm just gonna use the same setup I had and make it work with this new rig. So I don't like the way the steering wheel is right now. My arm is pretty much almost straight to reach it. So I'm going to get rid of this plate here and basically get the bolt pattern for the bottom of the Fanatec. I'm gonna make a plate, and then I'm gonna make standoffs from the sides of the metal frame here, and basically put it exactly where I want it. Cause yeah, I don't like so much this. I would like the wheel a little bit higher and a little bit closer. And with this, it's not really possible to adjust that. So this sim seat probably works really well for people who are, you know, the average size under 6 feet, but I'm 6'1", and this is kind of far for me for my legs to be straight and everything. I don't want to go too crazy with that. So I tried moving it around. It gets closer to my legs. It's not really going to be comfortable. So being able to build stuff, we're going to build a platform for this and make it stand off from there, and we should be good to go. So let's do it. Okay, so we have mounted the shifter, and I'm noticing this kind of like flimsy feel to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie the top in by a metal bar. I have a little bit over 1/4 inch thick piece here. I'm just gonna basically put that in between there. So what I'm going to do is basically tie the top together, because once I remove this, I'm going to lose that stability there. And then once I put the steering wheel, then I'll regain it. But I kind of want this spacing to stay as it is. And then once I bolt the bottom in permanently, or not permanently, but once I bolt it together, that should add some rigidity on the bottom as well because of this cross piece. But at the moment, it's separated from there. So that part's not there. I'm not gonna be using this black plate here. So what I'm probably gonna do is basically put it on the side, lower on the side, and I'll use it for the mouse and keyboard. so that way I don't have to stand up and get out to change tracks or cars or whatever it might be that I need to do with the keyboard and mouse. So with that being said, yeah, it's starting to look a lot better. The shifter, I just have one bolt in right now, and I tack welded it so it wouldn't rotate, because this doesn't really give you much much stability. It's not a close tolerance hole, so the bolt doesn't really take up the play. So you're gonna bolt it together and you're still gonna have some play. So at the moment right now, the only play I'm actually getting is from the other side that I haven't tack welded yet, because I want to remove this before I continue to weld where the shifter is going to be. So I basically took the old e-brake mount that I had from my office chair. I basically just ran some self-tappers through the Logitech joystick. So basically the way I have it now is pretty much how it is in the car. This is a stick from a broomstick that I had, and I basically just took off the handle from the e-brake, or from the joystick, and ran a drill through it, and I put a screw through the piece itself. So it's holding now. Obviously it's a little flimsy, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a clamp here with the spring, door spring on it. And I'll probably make a standoff plate or something here, so the spring will basically pull the brake forward. That way when I pull the brake, it'll full travel back, and it'll slam back forward with the spring. Next up is basically the steering wheel mounting. So I have this angle iron. I'm basically going to probably mount to these original spots, or just make put the pipe on the edge here, like over here, and then go off the pipe into the base, wherever it's going to be for the steering wheel. Just a little bit more modifications, and it'll be pretty much exactly like my car. I really don't feel like upgrading the wheel. The wheel has been good to me for the longest time. I know it looks kind of hurt, but it feels great. The motor's good, and I have a lot of spare parts for it in case I ever do break anything. So next up is the steering wheel mount, and we'll do that tomorrow. So we'll just snap to the next day now. I said I was gonna stop yesterday, but I kept on going a little bit longer. So I kind of made the base for the steering wheel, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm not gonna run the normal Fanatec mounting points. I'm gonna run the actual steering wheel frame mount itself. So I'm basically gonna put that in place there, and all the circuitry that goes to the steering wheel itself I'm gonna mount elsewhere. I have something on my shoe. It's a self-tapper. Okay, cool. So yeah, all this circuitry and ins and outs and all that good stuff I'm gonna put elsewhere, so that way it's kind of just the steering wheel there in place, and then it'll be a little bit cleaner looking. So I came up with this idea. Basically, this hole here, I'm going to slot it so it slides forward, and that way whenever my girlfriend wants to use the seat or something along those lines, she has some adjustability, so I can teach her how to drive manual and all that good stuff. So I'm kind of trimming all the sharp edges off of the brackets now. I'm gonna make this a 45-degree cut practically on both sides, so that way there's nothing that will impale you whenever you get into the seat itself. Yeah, it's turning into a mess in here. There's stuff everywhere, but I'm kind of just chugging along, not really stopping to do anything, just keep on working on this thing. Getting the steering wheel straight is pretty hard, so I might just have to open these holes up and pivot the wheel to get it perfect straight, because I'm doing this by myself, so I have to hold the steering wheel up and then make the arms and then tack it into place and do this and that, and it's not as easy as it looks. So it might not look straight right now, it might not be, it might be, I don't know, but it's gonna work, it's gonna fit. I bought a spring for my e-brake. Basically I'm gonna have this e-brake with the hose clamp here and a spring that runs from this hose clamp to basically this the standoff that I put here, And so when I pull it, the spring is going to extend and want to pull it back straight. So that way I can get a better feel for it and it'll actually relax in this state. So what else do I have? Shifters in place. Yeah, everything's looking okay. It's gonna be done pretty soon. And then I bought a USB hub. Hopefully that'll be here soon. I think that might be here now, actually. Callie's barking. Okay, so we are about 90% complete. I have made the what is this? The adjustment bar. So this I guess seat rail is supposed to be mounted a little bit wider. I don't know why. It seems to match perfect for the seat that I have now, but the bar was a lot wider than where it's supposed to be. So I cut it in the middle and I shortened it. That way it could access both, and I can move up and down on there and be able to slide the seat forward and back. I sprayed a little bit of black paint on the metal surfaces. E-brakes mounted. I didn't like the spring that I got at the store, so I'm actually gonna go buy another spring. It's a little bit softer. The spring that I originally grabbed is a extremely heavy spring, so when it comes to pulling the handbrake, it pretty much deforms the bottom, and so that's not what I'm looking for. The original mounting plate that pretty much goes for the top here for the steering wheel to mount to, I repurposed it and basically used it as a keyboard mount. I used the door hinge and I welded, what is that, like 3/8 rod, 1/4 inch rod, and basically welded it to the bottom, the flat plate. And now I can pretty much use the keyboard as I need to while I'm driving on the sim. You know, reach over to the left and I'll be good. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Everything is about ready to be set up. Next thing is I'm gonna go buy some springs and see if I can play with some setups. I actually went and bought this USB hub. I'll likely be mounting this to the bottom of the foot pedal area and running all the cables to this, and then one cable out into the computer. So that way it's a matter of plugging it in and disconnecting it. I think today will probably be the first day I get to try it, but we'll see how that goes. So here it is, everyone. The final assembly of the sim seat little setup that I did. It might not look like much, but it did take a little bit of work, as you can see in the video, all the modifications that I made to it. So it definitely made a big difference compared to how it originally came versus how it is now. You can see the steering wheel is definitely at a good point there for you to drive comfortably without the steering wheel being in your lap. The e-brake, as you can see, I have a small spring now, so when I pull it, it does actually have a good tension on it, and it drives back. Now if I wanted to go crazier, I could actually put guides in between the e-brake and basically channel it so it doesn't have any left and right play. But when I pull it straight anyways, so this left and right doesn't really bother me because I don't even pull in that direction. So this is the steering wheel, the original steering wheel, internal buttons and stuff. Since I'm running a actual Grip Royal steering wheel, I can't really mount that to there because it just wouldn't work. So I'm kind of just laying it up top here. I should actually put a piece of plexiglass or a piece of wood or something along those lines and put the circuitry on there, but for now this works. Just kind of keeping everything out of the way. You can see the cable management isn't the prettiest. Because my cables are really long, it kind of sucks to manage it, but whatever, we make it work. So everything's routed forward. Anything that's connected to USB is connected to USB hub here. A little wireless transmitter for the keyboard and mouse that I have over there. And then basically the end of this hub, it connects directly to the computer here. So the only thing I really need to do to get this rig going is I need to connect it to USB and I need to hook up the power. And the power is supplied for the steering wheel, and that's about it. Everything else just is all set up to go. So you can see how convenient of a setup it is. It's a very comfortable setup now. I use this with the Oculus Rift, so it's actually really convincing once you're in the seat. When you pull the e-brake, everything feels like it's there. So it's very convincing. Okay, so let's get to some simulator driving time so you guys can see what it's like to drive this thing.